I'm gonna tell you a story in bits and pieces. But the first thing you need to understand is time doesn't work the way you think it does. Abracadabra. You can call me Oracle, because I'm the one who's going to talk to you, occasionally sing to you. Anyway, it's a long, long way to Tipperary. Tired children of the gods, but we be living in the golden valley of the ways of all we are. In the ways of the golden valley of milk and honey, that's America. I think I mentioned that in another video. We kind of live in the land of milk and honey because you can literally go to any store and pay like $6 for milk and honey. I'm not even joking. That's actually a very small amount of money for something that, especially in like old days, were like straight up luxury items because it meant you had a cow or you had like beehives. That meant you were like, you had a farm. Like, I'm not even joking. Not even remotely joking. Like, I bring up like this and having done the candle like with the Hebrew before, like a lot of the stuff that I do is just like honestly referencing stuff that's kind of old that people don't really think about anymore, but like still has relevance to the modern day because like who doesn't want a way to protect themselves in a sort of passive way? It's like I'm not a big fan of everyone having guns. Unfortunately, it leads me to the opinion of like being more for the idea of ever having a bulletproof vest, but like I'd rather people just be like more able to deal with stuff without feeling a need to. Because the thing is, like I see people like I live in I live back and forth basically between like an open carry state and a non-open carry state, but like a state where you can very easily register a firearm. And like honestly, I see a lot of people with open carry like they just wear it on their hip just like everywhere. I'm just like, who are you? Like honestly, I kind of feel like they do that not because like they're like insecure specifically, because like that is an assumption that a lot of people make sometimes. But like, I'll admit maybe I did it first, but sometimes I think like maybe they had like a bad experience. Maybe they actually needed just to feel safe, and like I feel bad about that. But like, who are you? So I can like tell them that that's not okay, I guess. Anyway, yeah. In case you couldn't tell, because like there's more light in this video, like that's my Buddhist monk that I come through. Anyway, there's a long, long way to Tipperary. Oh, I have this cute theory of that like kind of unites Taoist Hunden with Ein Sof Sur. Um, like they're basically essentially the same in my mind. Which if you know anything about Kabbalah is basically like Hunden is essentially the source of the Tao, and Ein Sof Sur is essentially the source of like Keter in Kabbalah. And if they're essentially the same thing, that would make I don't know. It makes a ton of sense to me. I don't know. It makes a ton of sense to anyone else, but like as I was saying. There's a long way to the daddy, tired children of the young. There's a very specific reason I did that, by the way. I'm not told what it is. There's a long, long way to Tipperary. Higher children Saturday, Devata and all of they, all the Buddha Bala, and all the Sega and Avio, Saya Sega Karmi Dharma. Oh my goodness. So I discovered some very interesting things about like stuff that's just like I don't know who knows a lot about, for example, DC Comics. But there's this thing in DC Comics that Raven. Raven has this thing called a Shadow Soul. You know what word exists in Sanskrit as a single word that's just apparently existed for like a couple thousand years? Chaya Mon. Shadow Soul. So, there's also this other stuff, and like, there's Poison Mountain. That sounds incredibly cool. There's the poison tree and the poison worm, and there's this thing called the rule of the poison worm. I'm like, what is that? I want to know more. Ah, cool things I discovered from just researching yesterday. Anyway, I can't wait till this thing starts turning other calories. Anyway, it's a long, long way to do. Okay, so I think I mentioned this before. I think I'm gonna do this now since I'm a good solid ways into this, and like if I'm going to do a plug, I should probably do it now. So I write books under Jeffrey Savage. I wrote 7 books for adults, and I wrote 1 book for kids. I'd like to plug the book for kids first. It's called Moving Rooms, Helping Children Cope with Loss. It's like $3 if you buy like a hardcover, I think. I try to make it as cheap as possible because it's like it's for helping children cope with loss. I can stand for like as long as I'm not literally paying for every single copy to go out because like I'm poor as poo. I can't really like afford to like just like on my own time send that out. I would if I could because like if I won the lottery, I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna make this free and just like anyone who wants it can have it. But like still, that's a whole other deal. But like seriously, um, but like it's got a picture of Bengal cats on the front. It's very very easy to find. It's like I think it's like $4 if you buy a hardcover and $3 on Kindle. It's oh yeah, it's on Amazon. Um, because like you know they allow self-publishing, which I did. So I have a completed trilogy called The Last Laughs in Hell. In the third book, I have it essentially Christian hell turn into uh, essentially still being a Christian hell, but containing 16 Buddhist hells that are the 8 hot hells and the 8 cold hells. And that's like a minor spoiler that I don't mind sharing. It's called The Last Laughs in Hell because they all have like the last in part of their title. There's uh, the last the last house on Decatur, the last 7 beasts who sought refuge from the deluge in this case, and the last saints come rolling in. It's set in New Orleans, and that's why the last one is specifically set called that. Um, the fun little little spoiler. I have this cute little theory about the books of the Nephilim that comes up exclusively in the third book. So if you get into the series, you can get into that. So I have 2 ongoing series. One is called um, From the Files of the Sixth Age Detective Agency, which essentially is about a world that's like identical to this one, with some very minor differences. Uh, and that one starts with the werewolf intern, and then goes into double play shortstop slide, which I love so much. I love baseball. Reminds me of Anyway, um, there's also continuing series Games of Thrones, which starts with Angels of the Deep and continues with Time Enough for Love. And it's they're both set. They're both effectively. I don't know how much people know about like lit RPG and or isekai novels or light novels, but they're too long to be light novels. But essentially, they're very light novel esque in terms of being uh, sent to another world. I mean, they're about a computer programmer who is sitting there working out an import function, a player import function, at the same time a wizard is, and he turns on the world clock by altering. Like if you've ever seen the movie, um, it's one of my favorite movies ever. It has Baby Black Widow and young Captain America stealing the SAT scores. It's called The Perfect Score. It's hilarious. But essentially, you'll instantly understand this if you actually watch this movie like as many times as I have. Um, I just misses the dynamic variables. But no, he literally turned on the world clock, which is a dynamic variable, and or actually, I guess it would be it would be a static variable. I guess it would be a static variable at that point. It's supposed to be a static variable, I would imagine, but like it is a static variable that helps define literally all of the dynamic variables, um, which is about what I understand about computer programming. Anyway, which may be a lot or maybe absolutely nothing. I actually don't know. But here's the thing: so he's working on the player import function at the same time he just turned on the world clock, so to speak. Which is just effectively him turning on his ability to perceive that world from his computer. At the same time, he gets summoned to that world by a wizard because the wizard is trying to summon someone who can essentially destroy the world. And he does after a fashion. He literally changes it in a way so that's completely different, but that, in my opinion, is just better. Of course, I'm the author, so I would feel that way. But I don't know. Like I tend to be at least a little bit political in my books, so if like you're right wing, I'm just warning you now. I'm not. I'm not. I'm so far left. I'm of the opinion that people who want to have their guns. Yeah, I'm so far left. I think you should get your guns back, but I do think you should register them. Sorry, they're guns. They're dangerous. They can kill people. We register cars. They can kill people. On a side note, don't drive like d-bags. Like seriously, I have been so tempted to just like look at someone who's just been driving incredibly dangerously and inconsiderately to everyone else on the road and be like, I want to use my blessing to curse you so bad, but I feel like that'd be irresponsible. Buddha, please don't make me. Don't make me. Please don't let me do this, Buddha. Buddha, don't like encourage me to Zapatha curse someone who's being a reckless driver. Seriously, don't be a bad driver. It's just like, why do that? Why just like be a bully with a piece of metal that is large enough to hurt people? All right, I made my plug and then I immediately start preaching, so I'm gonna stop now. This is Oracle. Try to dream safely and if you can, drive safely too.